In this video, I'm going to show you some examples of price discrimination. So the first example I have here is from Real Cinemas in Hull. Now these prices are old. Currently Real Cinemas just has one price for every movie, but they used to have some price discrimination. So let's look at the 2D films here first. And look at the standard prices on the left here. So let's look at these prices. So we'll focus on these things first. So if we look at the price for an adult, it's £6.60. And you can see then that the price of students, teens, children, and those from the NHS or emergency services and armed forces are all lower than the price for an adult. This is price discrimination because different prices are being charged on the basis of some observable indicator. In this case, the observable indicator is, for the first four, the age of the person, right? So students are being charged less than adults and teens less than adults, and children and seniors less than adults. And the idea here is that students, teens, children and seniors generally have a lower income than adults and are more price sensitive. And so it makes sense for Real to charge them a lower price. So this is something we'll see later on when we'll derive this result mathematically. What type of price discrimination is this? So you might have heard of the different types of price discrimination. They're usually referred to as first, second, and third degree price discrimination. So this would be an example of third degree price discrimination, discrimination by some indicator. What about the last two in that column? So let's look at the family groups there. So the pricing there is that all the people in those family groups pay the children's prices. So in a family group of three, if you've got two children and one adult, then the adult is getting a discount compared to what they would pay if they went on their own. So this is also an example of third degree price discrimination. It's observable that they're in a family group. What about the column on the right there? So we have these 15% saver tickets. So all these prices are 15% less. And the saver tickets, prices here differ by time of day. So if you go Monday to Friday after 5 p.m. or on a weekend or bank holiday, you pay the standard price. But if you go during the day, before 5 p.m. on a Monday to Friday, then you get this lower price. So this is also a type of third degree price discrimination. It's observable you're going at a different time. And this is usually called intertemporal price discrimination, that varying the price based on the time that you buy the good, in this case the service. Now let's scroll down. So we have also 3D films. So you'll notice that the prices for the 3D films are all higher than for the 2D film. So this could be an example of price discrimination as well. So we can think of 2D and 3D films as films of different quality, and the higher quality, 3D, people are usually willing to pay more. So it makes sense to then charge a higher price. People can choose whether to go to the 2D or the 3D film, and those that put a higher value on the 3D part of the film might choose to go to the 3D version and pay the higher price. Okay, so let's look at the next example. So here we have something you face quite often when you go to the grocery store. So here we have the price for Tesco extra mature white cheddar, and you'll see that there are 3 different size blocks of cheese. And we can see the prices here for each size. And in the brackets here we have the price per kilogram. So you see here, as the size of the block of cheese increases, the price per kilogram is going down. So there's a bulk discount here. The bigger the block of cheese you buy, the less you pay per kilogram of cheese. So this is an example of second degree price discrimination. So here everyone is able to buy any size block of cheese they like, but different people might buy different size blocks depending on their valuations of cheese. So if there's someone who eats a lot of cheese, then probably they're going to go for the larger block and therefore pay the lower price per kilogram. And indeed, there's also a discount here. So if you buy 2 blocks of the 400-gram block of cheese, then you pay even less per kilogram. Now, we have another example here. So this is KC Broadband. So these are prices from a few years ago. These are prices for different broadband packages with different download limits. So we're going to ignore all the stuff here about the phone calls and just focus on that first line there and look at the download limits. And we're also going to look at the prices. So you can see there that as the download limit goes up, well, the price goes up. Let's ignore this discount here. This is usually £45.99 per month. But the price per gigabyte is going down. So here you're paying £32 per month for a 35 gigabyte limit. But here now you get a 100 gigabyte limit. The price only goes up by £4. So this is multiplied by about 3. This is going up by a very small amount. And the same thing happens as we increase even further, right? So the price you pay per gigabyte is decreasing as your download limit goes up. So here we have a sort of bulk discounting again. This is also second degree price discrimination. No, I've ignored this bit here about what happens if you go over the limit. This doesn't really matter, and we'll see why later on when we look at this example in more detail. Okay, so those are 3 examples of price discrimination. So you'll notice I didn't give you an example of first degree price discrimination, which is also called perfect price discrimination. First degree or perfect price discrimination is where the firm is able to charge exactly what each person is willing to pay. And the reason I didn't give you an example is this is not usually possible. One example that's sometimes given is doctors. So doctors, they might know a lot about their patients, and so they might be able to charge them quite close to what they're willing to pay.